So what I effectively did cause a certain e-commerce store to have a very sudden downturn in revenue. The big change that happened was the conversion rate tanked. So we saw a drop, like 70% decrease in the conversion rate.
So maybe you go, okay, it's £24, but if you buy two, maybe it's £40.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to spend £40 to then get my free delivery, which is £2.50. And now I've got 2 years worth of product. I'm not going to do that. And we broke something. We learned from the data, but actually ended up in a better place. So in the end, it was worth it. And over the course of multiple months, if you even that out, we are much better off now than we were then.
Yeah.
Alex,
Yeah,
you broke something.
I might have.
Okay, tell the world what you did.
So what I effectively did cause a certain e-commerce store to have a very sudden downturn in revenue.
You broke it.
I broke it.
Okay.
I fixed it, but it was broken, but
Okay.
there's a story behind it.
Okay. So, tell the boys and girls what you did, what broke, why we did it, and how we fixed it.
So a decision was made on online e-commerce store to change a couple of things. So we increased the delivery fee and had a small increase of the free delivery threshold. Delivery fee was quite a simple one. The current delivery fee was very low. I think it was only around 99p. So in terms of the overall revenue per order, it didn't really make much of a difference for the low value stuff. So for when someone was only ordering something, let's say under £7-8, the delivery fee wasn't really covering any of the delivery fee. So the profit margins on those very small orders were quite skinny.
Yeah. Or making a loss.
Or making a loss. And the threshold for free delivery was also quite low, and with a bit of market research compared to research, it was way below what everyone else was doing.
Okay.
So
the principle here that what we're trying to do is increase the average order value, therefore increase the profitability, the return on ad spend from Google Ads, the thing that makes the whole machine work. We need a higher order value to be able to afford the clicks at the conversion rate we get, which is fantastic, by the way. Conversion rate is just incredible on this site. Maybe because the delivery is too cheap.
Delivery fee at a very low order threshold.
But the problem we had is that the average order value, if you are placing an order for £8 or £9 and delivery is £1, there's no reason to spend £15 because the £1 is
the incentive.
There's no pain, there's no incentive.
The incentive to increase your orders isn't there, and then that just leads to a lot of orders at a very good conversion rate, but simultaneously the margin on each order is very low, if not making a loss.
Yeah.
So for the overall business, it's really not doing much.
Yeah. And there's lifetime customer value, repeat orders, and et cetera, and that's fine. But actually our problem was we identified that we needed to increase average order value, and we increased the delivery charge.
Yeah.
And what happened?
So a couple of things happened. So the AOV, we did see an increase, but it was quite a minor one. So it kind of moved between 2 and 5% increase. So not exactly noticeable. So I think it went from about probably around £16 to 17, £16.50. So it was noticeable. But the big change that happened was the conversion rate. It tanked. So we saw a drop, like 70% decrease in the conversion rate from the site as a whole, Google Ads, which is where the majority of the sales traffic would come from. And we just saw that absolutely drop. And concerning was it was dropping on what were previously high-performing products, all our kind of hero products which we sold. They tanked massively.
Oops. Well, not oops.
Big yikes.
To be fair, this was a test. We have to expect that. Sometimes tests
it was a
give
test.
us the data that we don't expect.
It was done with research in mind. We have had seen this work elsewhere, so we wanted to try and test this principle in this marketplace. But there were some things which existed in those other spheres which didn't exist in this one. And the thing we probably didn't take into account was the nature of the product, especially because when you're trying to encourage people to kind of spend more, increase AOV, kind of add more things to their order, the thing we were selling here isn't exactly something you would buy on a whim. It is a
you buy it because you need it.
You buy it because you need it, and in a lot of cases you need a specific amount, and it's not exactly something it's consumable, but it's not going to run out quickly.
Yeah,
so it's not going to be like
you might only need one of these for 6 months, or you might need one for 12 months. So if you want to buy two, it's like.
So in the current moment, I think a large percent of the audience aren't going to go, well, I'm just going to double my order, save a few quid for the sake of something that's going to take 24 months to kind of come to an end of the cycle.
Yeah.
So where they only want one specific thing out of necessity, they're going to probably hunt around for the best price for that.
Yeah.
And previously, with the low delivery threshold and the kind of delivery cost being as cheap as it was, we were often the budget store for this.
Yeah.
And with those low costs, I think they were within the kind of acceptability range of, I'll just get it here because it's cheap. I don't really need to go elsewhere and try and source this from another location.
I don't need to shop around because it's so cheap.
For the sake of a couple of quid.
Yeah.
But when we increased them, we're effectively adding £2.50 to every single order. And when you're buying something that's £6, you're actually increasing the kind of money they're having to spend by over 30%. And that's something which you would think about. It's like, well, I can probably get this for cheaper elsewhere. I'm going to have a look around. And I'm not, and this isn't really something where you're just going to make a note and then come back to later. You're just going to find something cheap and buy it. Something else we also realised after, which would have had a large effect, is if we're thinking of all our hero products, all had something very similar in nature, and that was they were all at a very specific price point, and that was between £20 and £25. When we increased the delivery threshold, we increased it initially to £25, and that put it just over where these products were situated.
So now instead of it being 24, including free delivery, even when it was £1, that £24 item now costs £26.50.
£26.50, £27, And again, that is noticeable. And as we mentioned earlier, this isn't something where you can just quickly add something out to the cart. You're buying this because you need it.
Well, there are two problems with this. One is that if you're spending £24 to get the thing that's going to last a year, you're not really going to go, well, if I buy two, I can get a pack of them and it will be a bit cheaper. So maybe you go, okay, it's £24, but if you buy two, maybe it's £40. But I'm not going to spend £40 to then get my free delivery, which is £2.50. And now I've got 2 years worth of product. I'm not going to do that. The second problem that we have with this particular store, which we don't have with others, is that we don't have a range of other products that they could buy to go with this to increase the order value.
It's kind of this.
It's almost like a single product store.
And also on that point, it's a consumable product within a consumable product. You may not need this in 6-12 months time. Are you really going to take the risk of increasing your order from £24 to £38? Like an extra 14 quid for free delivery when the back half of the order you might not use. And then you're just going to have it laying around and
exactly. So I think there's a higher risk to the customer. That's why they don't upsell so much to get over the threshold. And they don't want to buy more product necessarily. And I think the other big challenge with this, if you take Amazon for example, you would buy this product on Amazon, but if you only wanted to buy like one of them and it was £8, like you might be on Prime, so you're getting free delivery anyway, but if you're not on Prime and you have to pay for delivery, then you go, oh, well, I'll just buy some other things that I need to make up the order value. We don't have the luxury on this site of, oh, well, you could also buy some of this and some of that. You could buy a jumper and a pair of trainers or something. We don't do that. It's a very specific product. So unless you're going to buy more of this product, for a lot of customers, there's not reason enough to buy two. So the whole thing broke. Not the whole thing. It got a lot worse very quickly.
But
so what did we do? What did we learn? How do we fix it?
When we saw the major thing was the drop in conversion rate happen, it was, okay, why has this happened? What has it happened on? And what we immediately noticed was there was a very large decrease. Probably the biggest decrease was in these kind of hero products between 20 and £25.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because these were what was effectively fueling the machine before. We were getting regular orders on these. They were fairly chunky orders. And we very quickly realised, as I mentioned, that, right, we've moved the threshold just above these.
Yeah.
We've turned these £24 orders into £26.50 orders, £27 orders.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden...
So it should have increased our average order value by about 10% or so.
It should have, but people weren't ordering.
Which it did. If we take the goal of increase order value, we smashed it out of the park. We increased the average order value.
We increased the order value, but unfortunately, when we had 10 people buying them before, only 3 people actually bothered to have the increased orders. So we're making more per order.
So we kind of won in one direction, but we lost in the other direction.
And we lost in the other direction a lot more.
Yeah. So what did we do?
What we did was, I think we realised the problem was more in the threshold as opposed to delivery.
Yeah.
Because the smaller products, they were still selling.
Yeah.
The delivery charge really wasn't putting people off as much in those areas.
So someone who's going to spend £8 or £10 was now spending £10.50 or £12.50.
£12, yeah. Those orders weren't as affected.
Yeah.
So,
but the bread and butter average ones, which were the £23, £24 orders,
they dropped off.
They were.
So quite simply, all we did was we moved the threshold from 25 down to 20.
Yep.
So we pushed these bread and butter products above that mark.
Yep.
And very quickly, we saw things return back to a regular level.
Yep.
We still saw a bit of an increase in AOV.
Yep.
Probably more around the 3 to 5% mark now.
Yep.
Just because we weren't getting these 27 compared to 24. But for the most part, we recovered most, if not all, of that sale revenue we had dropped initially.
But we ended up in a roundabout way. So if we take A as our starting point, which was the old method, pound delivery, low threshold, we broke it by testing it.
Yeah.
We proved that didn't work. We adjusted it, and we've actually ended up in a better position now.
Because even though we did break it, we did learn a few things from the journey.
Yeah, so
we learned stuff about our audience.
Yeah.
We learned what they effectively responded to in terms of how far they were willing to go.
Yeah.
And what we learned that is a lot of our audience were coming here because it was value. They were getting better value from this store than they were getting elsewhere.
And the low value orders we still got,
yeah.
but they became slightly higher value orders because we were charging.
But our low value products were still far lower than what you see elsewhere. So even with that delivery charge, we were still getting those sales. But where our upper, kind of our mid-price products, they're probably closer to the market average.
Yeah.
So when we increased the overall cost of the consumer on those products, what we probably did was we jumped above some of the competitors who have lower thresholds.
Or made it painful enough
yeah.
that they considered going to Amazon and adding more products there, which they couldn't on our side.
Because the cart data would suggest that stuff was still going into carts, but then they saw that additional charge.
Yeah.
And we're like, hold up, I'm going to go look elsewhere.
So the small order value, actually we've increased the average order value on that because delivery is now higher, which means we're actually making a significant amount more profit on the small orders. And the medium orders, the ones that we significantly broke, actually have returned to where they were originally.
Yeah.
So the net result actually is we tested it, it broke with the test, but we proved something, which was we can't do both of these at the same time, or certainly not at this level. We learned from that data.
Yeah. We
changed it back, not changed it back, but we lowered it, but kept the threshold lower.
We went too fast, too quick.
Yeah, and tested both.
And drove the car off the road.
Yeah.
But in driving the car off the road, we managed to put the car back together in a slightly better way than it was before we ran.
So the net result is that it's now better than it was. We have achieved our original goal, which was to increase the average order value, which has happened. And we now have returned to higher than revenue than we had in the first place and higher profit. So it was worth breaking it.
Yes. Yeah.
It was worth breaking it. And I think, you do have to be brave and test some of these things sometimes. You don't maybe expect quite the extremes of what actually happened. And like, nobody went bankrupt here, by the way. Like, that's, yeah, just to be clear about that. It was a test. We didn't expect quite the extreme results that we got. And in most tests you don't, but in this one we did. And I think if we were to do it again, I think what we would probably do is change the delivery charge first, see what impact that had, and then maybe have a small increment in terms of delivery charge and see a delivery threshold and understand what difference that made, and then maybe increase it again slightly and do that carefully and gather data. Whereas this was more of a, we needed to do something and do something fast, and it was the Zuck method of move fast and break things, right? And that's what we did. And we broke something, we learned from the data, but actually ended up in a better place. So in the end, it was worth it. And over the course of multiple months, if you even that out, we are much better off now than we were then.
Yeah.
So the lesson is, test a bit more carefully maybe than we did, but do expect, if you are going to do a test, that it doesn't always work how you expect it to. It doesn't always deliver the result. And that is why you should test and measure.